concept of what it is to actually not get any 911, to not get any firefighters, to not have any food or water or any way to get it, or cell phones or anything else. So we can talk more about that. We are going to try to have snacks more often. This is the first time I think we've had any, but that'll depend on getting donations for the next one. So this one's the starter. And suggestions for snacks, also you can email me, Sean, with a U, at prcert.org, or go online and contact us there. Opinions about it? We have started, as of once, to have a table out at the once a month Friday music festival. Are you all familiar with that? That they do such a nice job? Edie and I went to the last one. Just they were gracious enough, because they don't usually do this, to allow us to set up a table and just kind of let people know that we're here and what we're doing, and try to connect with neighbors. And the benefit was I've never actually gotten my butt down there, and I'm not going to tell you how many years I've lived here. It was a lot of fun, just listening to the music and talking to neighbors that came by. And we need volunteers. We've got 3 more of those to go this summer: August 18th, September 8th, and September 22nd. So I won't ask you to speak up right now, but if you think you could come sit even for an hour and help be at that table, we would really appreciate it. And that is it. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Carmen Estrada. She's from the Concord CERT team, and is going to teach us all about pet emergency preparedness. And she is just generally prepared, so I'm impressed.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good to meet you all. I'm, like she said, Carmen Estrada. I'm with the Concord CERT team. I was originally on the leadership team as well, but too many things are going on in my life. So this keeps me quite busy. I go everywhere and I speak on emergency pet preparedness, which is obvious, helping you to be prepared with your animals and pets, or your family, or your neighbors for that matter. And being part of CERT, obviously, CERT, I'm under the umbrella of CERT, so I go around and I speak on their behalf as well. So let me start off with, I am not only a member of Concord CERT, I am also a member of the Contra Costa County Animal Response Team that is under the umbrella of the Martinez Animal Services. In a disaster, we're talking major disaster here, if it's needed and we need services for animals, what we ask you to do is please don't leave your animals behind. I tell that to everybody anyway. Don't leave your animals behind. You may not be able to get back to your home for X amount of days. If we needed to set up an emergency shelter, that's what we would be doing. The powers that be at the top will call down, let Animal Services know we need to set up a shelter. We would then set up a shelter. It may not necessarily be in Martinez. It's dependent upon where the disaster is, okay? Let's just say it's right out here, right, in Richmond. You guys have a major disaster, you need some help. They're telling you, take your animals, you need to evacuate. Well, where are you going? All right, so that's what we're going to be talking about. What do you have? First of all, let me ask this. How many of you have pets? Oh, look at those hands. What's the matter? You don't like animals.
I got a pet spider.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's an easy one. You just put them in your pocket, right? Okay. So, cats, dogs?
Cat.
Dogs. Okay.
Dogs and cats.
All right, so you're in the same boat I'm in. I have 3 dogs and 5 cats. I am going to be a very busy person trying to find all my animals, right? Yes, cats are notorious because the first sign of anything that's not right, they disappear and they hide. So my suggestion that I tell everyone is learn where your cats like to hide. Watch them. The next time somebody rings the doorbell, watch where Kitty goes. He's got his own place that he likes to hide, he or she, okay? Dogs are a little easier to capture. That's not too bad. So, what happens if there is you are going to do.
My kids are coming to mine.
They are, huh? Well, what if they tell you you have to
No,
evacuate?
we've already discussed, what if the city's house?
Yeah, if there's
I'll
something
go
going
out and
on,
vote.
you're going, okay. I like her, she's all set.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you need to do is you need to start now, thinking about what you need to do, make the plan, okay? Figure out where you're going to go if you have to leave home. Who is going with you? How many animals or which animals are you prepared to be able to take? Because obviously you don't want to leave any of them behind, okay? And I will tell you this. Even my partner and I have discussed this. We may not be able to take all of the cats. That's just the way it's going to have to be. There's 5 of them. One of them is a big boy. He kind of walks around. We'll probably be able to find him, and he comes when you call him. The other 4 that we call the kittens, even though they're 3 years old already, they're going in 4 different directions. We may be able to capture one of them. Otherwise, the window goes up, and we just have to hope for the best, okay? So, with that in mind, then, we need to be prepared for 3 dogs, maybe 1 cat, okay? So let's work with that. You want to, ahead of time, make your plan of where you're going to be going if they tell you you need to evacuate, and how are you going to evacuate, okay? If you're going to go to Aunt Rosie's house, because she's further away from the disaster, and hopefully you should be able to get there, okay? Let Aunt Rosie know ahead of time that you're including her in your emergency plan, okay? Because Aunt Rosie may not like the idea of you bringing along a cat, a dog, and whatever else you have at home, all right? So you need to work that out with Aunt Rosie. Make sure those plans are set, okay? So now, because I haven't been given a whole lot of time, what do we need to pack?
Food, water.
Medications.
Bingo!
Leashes.
Oh, I like this group. This group, I think, is ahead of the group. So, a first aid kit, very important, okay? That needs to be packed. And along with that first aid kit are going to be medications if your animals take meds. So that is something that you're going to have to work ahead of time with your vet, okay? Because you're not going to have time to start looking for all the pills, even though you know where they usually are, right? Because you probably have them on the kitchen counter or something like that. But you don't have time. You need to get going. So you work with your vet and ask your vet for at least 3 days worth of medications, if not at least a week, okay? Separate from your normal meds, all righty? And you explain to him or her why you are asking for those. And then once you've got them and you put them into your first aid kit, then you just rotate them around, okay? So you always have fresh meds for them, okay? So work with your vet. Let them know what you're trying to do. So, meds, a first aid kit, vet wrap, for those who know, right? It's bandaging material. I keep it separate only because it doesn't fit in this first aid kit. A first aid kit can be as simple as just a bag with your main first aid items, okay? And yes, there are some items that can double for yourself, but for those who have dogs and cats, we know there are some items that have to be different, like an antibiotic or some kind of an ointment in case of a burn, that type of thing. So, first aid kit, food, whoever it was who mentioned food, make sure your food is the same kind of food that your dog normally eats. And why is that?
Diarrhea.
Absolutely. They're already going to be stressed. So you don't want to start introducing something that's different. That's just going to compound the problem. Same thing for cats. try and make sure that you have what they normally eat. Now, my cats and dogs are all on dry food, so it's pretty easy. Put it into a bag, freeze dry it, and then it's easily packed. Make sure you have some treats for them, okay? And the reason for the treats is so when you get to wherever you're going, you're going to give them some comfort. We all need comfort. I know I'm going to be needing comfort. So a little bit of wet food, even though my cats don't normally eat it, that's just to give them a little bit of comfort food. Same thing for the dogs, okay? Toys, a couple of toys for them to have with them. Again, comfort and to keep them entertained, because wherever you're going, you want them to be comfortable, all right? So food, water, oh, the water is over here, and have you ever seen these? They're packaged water. These are packaged water. You can get them online, or if I'm not mistaken, I have seen them at Lowe's in their emergency section, okay? This is much easier to pack than bottled water, all right? Although I keep bottled water in a case prepared to go. I have it in the garage and I have some in the car, all right? So you have food, water, which is absolutely necessary, okay? And our meds, first aid, most important, okay? So now, this is Oreo, everybody.
Hi, Oreo.
This is my little girl who travels with me everywhere I go. I can't take my real little one with me, so she has to substitute. You want to have, even if you don't normally use a muzzle on your dog, and we all love our dogs, mine will never bite anybody. Did you ever hear that?
Mm-hmm.
My dog doesn't bite.
All dogs bite.
All dogs can bite. That's right. And in a stressful situation, even more so. As much as I love my dogs at home, I'm not taking any chances. They have their muzzles ready. We have extra harnesses, extra collars, and extra leashes. This is just for demonstration. Our leads are a little bit wider. Just in case, because whatever you're putting on them at the time, if you need anything else, you're going to make sure you have it with you, all right? Booties.
Oh.
I know, my goodness gracious, we're not going up to Alaska, but if you're walking through debris and you walk over glass, you don't want to walk through it. Why would you want your pet to walk through it? So, inexpensive. You just go to the pet store.
Can you show us one?
Sure.
Is that leather on bottom?
These are cloth. If I can
You
get the
just put
package.
socks on?
You could put a thicker sock, and then around the leg just use blue tape. That's why I have blue tape. I love blue tape. I have blue tape in every bag I have, and duct tape. So this is just a simple little booty. These are small for when the dog was a puppy. Okay. This is the part that would be on the ground, all right? You can get them in almost any style, any kind. I don't say go and buy the $40, $50 pair. You get them for a few bucks, as long as you have 4. And the reason why I say that is, I want you to realize, I'm serious. This package came with 2 booties.
What?
I don't know any two-legged dogs, so it wouldn't have been doing me any good. So I always say, just make sure you've got 4, okay? And the point is just so that you have something in case you need to put on their paws to walk through, all right? So, booties, leashes, collars, muzzle. There's another style of muzzle, which is keeps it easy for them to breathe, okay? Again, it's only in case. You know. All righty, so, coming on back here.
Water bowls.
Water bowl, food bowl. Water bowl, food bowl, interchangeable. The point is, it flattens down, okay? Very simple, okay, to pack. Now, the one thing I will tell you is, start practicing with this now, all right? Because I have one dog who does not like drinking out of one of these. She'll do it, but very reluctantly. The cat's nada. No way, Jose. So for them, I don't have it with me. For them, we have little stainless steel dishes that are about this deep. It's just enough so that it's for a cat. And so we have a set for water and a set for food. Okay? But start working with this now. And like with anything else, start working with them as well. You want them to be able to come and go in an emergency. All right? So if they see you grabbing that go bag, they know something is up. We're getting out of here. Let's go. Make it fun for them. Okay? So, dishes. And I've thrown in a little flashlight, an LED, only because I'm neurotic. And some toys, even the cat toys. Potty bags. Never go anywhere without potty bags. Blankie. Again, comfort. All right? What I've started to do is thinking about keeping these rotated around in the bags with the scent of the house. You know, they have blankets in their crates, so we'll switch them around and put, that way it's always familiar. My dogs are all trained to go in their crate. Are your dogs trained to go in their crates?
Absolutely. They love their crates.
Don't let them tell you that they don't like it. They need to learn how to be in one. All right?
And if you do it right, they'll love their crates.
Oh, absolutely.
Mine love their crates.
That's right. That's
Feed 'em the
right.
crate,
And
they'll love
if
it.
you need a little incentive for them, throw in some treats. Play with them. It's a nice place to be. This is a fun place to be. That way they'll always go. I've trained the puppy now. She's 16 months old, Australian Shepherd. And in the morning, we go out, we do our potty, we come back in the house, I say, okay, let's go get a biscuit. We go to the kitchen. This is routine. Dogs are great with routine, okay? Go to the kitchen, get 3 biscuits, go back into the living room, okay, crate. She runs into her crate and she sits down. I throw her a biscuit. I go over to the other one, crate, Skeeter goes in there, and this is Skeeter. That's my little man. I throw his little biscuit in there, and then I just close up their crates. They go back to sleep before I leave for the day. Tess, who is now laying in the hallway listening to what's going on, bring her a biscuit. Terrific. She goes to her spot where she knows she's supposed to be. Teach them some way of going to a place where you can get them. That's the important thing. If it's not all the way inside the crate, let it be a cushion or a blanket in front of the crate so that you can get her or him and then be able to put them in the crate. But they must learn, because it's important for them, all right? It's going to be important for you if you need to grab kitty or doggy and have to leave the house.
So are you saying we should bring the crate with us?
Oh, absolutely. You're ahead of me. Okay. We should have folding crates. Now, preferable to have wire crates, okay? But I understand that all of us have big trunks. My trunk, you can fit 2 bodies in it. That's a joke.
You tried.
crates.
visual of that.
Wire crates would be preferable, only because they're sturdier, obviously. But soft-sided crates, that's great. The idea is so that when you go to wherever you're going, you have something to be able to put them into while you get, while you're doing whatever. Let's say, supposing part of your emergency plan is you're gonna go to Hotel ABC, which is in, give me a city.
Modesto.
Okay, so you're going all the way there, provided you can drive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna drive along with 1,000 other people, and you're gonna go to ABC Hotel, and you know that they're gonna let you go there because you've already checked it out, and you know that they're pet friendly. Wonderful. Now you get there, okay, and what, did you have a dog?
We have a dog, yes.
Okay, so you have a dog, now you're getting out of the car, you're going in the hotel, oh gosh, I'm so stressed. Oh my goodness, the little bit that we were able to bring with us, oh my. Where did doggy go? Oh my God, he got out of the hotel. Have the crate put up, put the dog in the crate, now you can relax. Okay, so that's basically the reason. Now, I have wire crates in my cargo van. So I'm lucky I have that. But I also have all soft-sided crates in the regular car. So everything's all ready. It's done. Everything you see there, including the wire. Now all I do is hope that when the emergency comes, I'm at home
Right.
and that I'm not at work,
Right.
right? Okay, so that's what it looks like. The reason why I chose this one, in case you're wondering, is because I have seen this one, large sizes. All right, so if you need one a little bit bigger than for Skeeter, they do come in other sizes. Skeeter doesn't have any hair on his chest. He's a little Chihuahua Terrier mix, so he's got a little pair of jammies in here too. Okay, so what I tell people will ask me, well, what should I pack everything in? Well, you can do it as simple as a regular backpack, okay? That's good for one animal, and that's good for 3 to 5 days. You'd be surprised what you can pack in here. You see that there? That's a litter box, and gravel, and the scooper. Don't forget that. Don't forget the scooper. And also don't forget the hand opener, just in case. Or you can use something like this, which is what I would suggest if you have more than one animal, or in the premise like myself. I'm getting too old, there's no way I'm going to carry 5 backpacks, right? So, weekender, handle, wheels. That is a whole lot easier to drag along and be able to put it in your car if you're not already packed in the car, okay? So, it's just, how much do you want to carry? You don't have to have everything, but you do need the necessities, right? Food, water, first aid kit, meds. That's the absolute minimum that you can actually go with, okay? And they say do 3 days, 72 hours.
It's longer than that now.
I'm sorry, that's exactly right. I tell people, if you're gonna pack for 5 days. And if you can really swing it, pack for 7 days. You don't know how long you're going to be away from home, okay? Part of your emergency planning, how many of you are in CERT? 2, 3? The rest of you have not joined the green crowd yet? Okay. Part of what you will learn in CERT, and I highly recommend that you take the class. It's free. All it is 6 hours of your 6 days, 3 hours each day, of your time that you invest in the training. The training is free, and to be very honest with you, there is stuff that you will learn at the CERT training that's going to help you personally if something happens, okay? And basically, what it's going to give you is, do you know how to use a fire extinguisher?
I've never used one,
Okay.
but we've got them, and I'm hoping that I would know how to flip that thing and use it,
Okay,
but I've never used it.
That was a topic for our first meeting, actually.
there you go, okay. So one of the things you want to think about when you're going to go to use a fire extinguisher, if you grab that extinguisher right now to try to use it, you think it'll work?
I hope so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
There is a plastic tie that holds the handle so that you can't accidentally use it. That's not going to help you in an emergency unless there happens to be a pair of scissors or some kind of a utility knife nearby.
They
to
break
use
if you
it.
pull hard. They break if you pull hard. They're designed for that.
Okay,
But what if you
I'm not
can't pull
taking
that hard?
chances.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're the same thing we use on medical carts and
Okay.
in the hospital and stuff like that, yeah.
All right, well, so hopefully it'll break when you open it. Okay, you know where your gas turn-off is?
We've talked about it. You,
I see somebody going
And
like
have
Yep,
this.
we all talked
Okay.
about that last week.
Okay, you know where it is, you know how to turn it, you know how far to turn it. Do you have a tool nearby it to turn it? These are all the kind of things that you're going to learn, okay? Even though you know where it is, it does you no good if there is no tool there for you to use. You're going to go running around looking for a tool, okay? That's being prepared, okay? So the same thing with your pets. If you're not prepared ahead of time, you're going to have a hard time being able to leave the house and being able to go somewhere and stay somewhere for 3 to 5 days. What are you going to do? Can't go shopping. You don't have time to go look for everything to go pack up. You need to get out now. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I also would posit that this is all great stuff to have together if you're staying at home. But
Exactly.
you're at home, there's not gonna be stores, you're not gonna, there's not gonna be any purchasing of anything.
That's right.
So if you're stored up and ready to go, for particularly a lengthy period of time, we stock up for 2 weeks at my house.
Mhm.
But then it's all nice and easy, it should be with your stuff, the food, the muzzles, the toys, all that stuff,
Everything.
ready to go.
Right.
And then you just camp at home, they call it sheltering in place.
Exactly.
But at least it's all there, so.
Exactly. So the being prepared is for any kind of an emergency or disaster. Now, there's two different things there. Disaster means a real major disaster. You get that earthquake we've all been waiting for. And I'm still going to wait for it. I don't want it. An emergency could be a gas explosion. I don't know, what do we have around here in Point Richmond?
Gas.
Nothing.
Okay, so you
Chevron.
got Chevron,
General Chemical,
General
Car
Chemical.
accident.
What else do we have around this area?
the railroad.
You could have a
Don't think
railroad
about that
problem,
either.
okay?
Oh gosh, yes, we've had that in the
Okay.
past.
How about flooding? You have flooding in this area?
Flooding somewhat,
What kind
We
some
live in a flood zone.
Right.
so,
Okay,
flooding.
so,
landslide.
okay, so you need to think about your specific area. I mean, in Concord, directly, I don't think I have to worry about the refinery, but it is in Martinez, so it probably could come over, right? But there are all kinds of emergencies within your neighborhoods that can happen. Okay, so that's what you need to be prepared for. You need to be prepared for you, your family, your pets, and whether or not you're leaving or you're going to shelter in place. So all of that takes pre-planning, all right? And what I would suggest is, here comes all the paperwork. Okay. If you want them, they're all up here, folks. Here's your basic information And on here, let me go ahead and hand these out. Let's see, here, here, here. So on here is your basic 3-step program, all right, what to do, how to get around doing it. I've also attached making a first aid kit for your dog, okay? What to put into it. Like I said now, don't worry, you don't have to go out and spend $500 on a first aid kit, okay? An evacuation kit for your dog. Again, just remember, you definitely need the basics. You can expand as your dog's needs are. Then there's an evacuation kit and first aid kit for cats. All right, so that's on a separate sheet. I also have here a few other items which I think you can make use of. Does anybody have birds? No birds?
Some people in the neighborhood do have birds. A lot of people in the neighborhood do have birds.
So I'll just push that out of the way. Okay, so we have here preparing a lost pet flyer, okay? All of this is for doing in advance so you're already prepared, okay? You want to put together,
Oh, wow.
all right? It's already done, you get a picture put here, fill out the information so you have it ready in your emergency kit.
Can you show that again?
Oh, you?
There we go.
All right, there you go.
For the folks at home.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Then we have individual pet record. When you go to your vet and you're going to talk to him or her about the meds, and if it's not meds, you're going to go there anyway, and you're going to say, you know what, I'm preparing an emergency kit for my Lulu. Right? He knows Lulu. Okay, you're going to say, I need a printout of Lulu's records. I need vaccinations, what they were, when they were given. I need her chip number, and hopefully everybody has chips in their pets. Yes?
Yes.
Good. All right. What medications they take, what the amounts are, all of that. You're going to get a copy of it. Now, you don't need the whole file. I mean, Lulu may be 10 years old. We don't need 10 years' worth. We just need the basic information. You're going to have some information on here, and you're going to have a copy attached to it. All right? That's going into your emergency kit. The reason is if you have to leave, and you do go to an emergency animal shelter, you already have your information, so when you step up, you say, okay, I'm leaving Lulu, I need to leave Lulu with you while I go to the Red Cross shelter and get myself set up.
I was going to ask about what's Red Cross's
Red Cross
policy on animals.
they're not letting you in with your animal.
Okay.
Okay, so forget Red Cross.
Now, didn't,
Now,
post-Katrina, didn't the government require FEMA to make plans for animals as well as for people?
between me, you, and God. Yes, because of Katrina, they did pass a law that we need to start making available help for animals. Every city, every state does it differently. Not all of them are following the rules. I'm sorry to say, and sorry if we're recording this, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. Every city and state is handling it differently. Every city and state also has people like myself who will volunteer to put up an emergency shelter. And because we love animals and our passion is there, we will open up a shelter so that you can do this, okay? But it would be really great if you had some information with you, because let's say supposing you leave Lulu with us and you can't remember for the life of you when did Lulu have her last rabies shot? All right. Okay, not a problem, but then we have to wait until we have to keep your dog in quarantine. Now I can't put Lulu in her cage.
Even if they have the rabies tag on them,
If you have it, we probably would accept that.
she has it right on there.
Does it have the date of when she had her last shot?
I'd have to look. She just got
Okay.
it because she's a puppy, so thank you.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
You probably need a booster. Okay. Have your paperwork,
Mhm.
okay? Because what happens then is, we'll put Lulu into quarantine, along with probably half of everybody's animals, because nobody has their paperwork, and they certainly aren't carrying them around in their back pocket. When we have a vet available, then we will be giving them shots. You don't want to really give an animal double shots. It's not necessarily the best course of action, but we do it because we need to protect all the other animals. That's, that's why we say, have this done, because this way you have your information, and even if it's just this, that's okay. You have the information there to say to the person who's doing the intake, oh yeah, Lulu had her blah, blah, blah. There it is, okay? That's going into your emergency bag, all right? Now, along with that, so you want to work with your vet, okay? Along with that, I have here a sheet, and again, this is all pre-planning on your part. You are here in Richmond, so maybe some of these major hotels are not necessary for you, but it would be nice if you knew what kind of hotels were around that were pet friendly, all right? This starts you on the way, on that road. There are 800 numbers for the major hotels, okay? I don't have anything else for you.
This is great information, thank you.
I can't lie, this is all stuff that we've been gathering over the years. Okay, here's another one, which again, you're gonna work with your vet. This is an owner authorization to treat a sick or injured animal,
Oh, God, yes.
okay? You are going to complete this, you're gonna sign it, and you're gonna work with, let's say, a friend, a neighbor, relative. Say, supposing you're not home, there's a disaster or an emergency, your dog is running around loose. I notice and say, oh my God, that's Lulu. We have to grab her. We grab Lulu and we notice, oh my God, she's bleeding. Well, if you already have this completed with your vet, I can get this over to the vet and go, I have Lulu with me, and I know that, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Carol.
I know that Carol has an authorization on file, so I can bring Lulu in and take care of her. A vet will not take care of an animal unless they have an authorization ahead of time.
They
No,
won't,
because
they
there's no
won't touch it.
guarantee that he's gonna get paid.
And there's a possibility of liability on the
Yes.
part of the vet that could
Right.
get sued because,
So this
Yeah.
is good for all the time, and it's not just for emergencies. Okay, now here's a great idea. Got this from a Red Cross worker. Be ready in a flash. Create a survival flash drive. How simple. I don't have to have that stack of paperwork in an emergency to have to worry about packing and taking with me. Put it on a flash drive. You have your house information on there, your insurance information, your car information, your vet information on a flash drive. You can carry one around with you. You can leave one at the office. And obviously, you can encrypt them. I mean, you're not just going to leave everything. But put all your important information on here so that whenever something happens, you've got that. You can go to the Red Cross and say, okay, I used to live at the blah, blah, blah house there in the corner, and it's gone now. Okay, you have some proof? What kind of paperwork do you have? They're gonna ask you. Be ready, okay? So these are some of the extra little things that we've thought about that should be good. Just to go back on real quickly about that Red Cross. Red Cross is for humans. They will allow, and this is supposedly, and since I have never had to deal with it, they will allow service dogs. Bona fide service dogs. Not a therapy dog, not a because I need your comfort dog, a service dog. Obviously, if 15 people show up with service dogs, are they going to let 15 people in? Don't know. It could be first come, first served, all right? But you can't bring your pet into Red Cross. So you need to keep an ear and an eye out for the information that should be on the news, whether it's on TV or the radio, if they say, okay, folks, the people in Point Richmond, once you evacuate, head to Martinez. We're opening up an animal shelter for you. Okay? So you need to head over there first. Or you can head to the hotel, whichever one you want. All right? But know that we will be there as volunteers to help out. All right? Of course, CERT tells you, and this is right when you take the training, what's the mantra? Take care of yourself
Right.
first. Then you take care of your family. That may include your pets, okay? Then, if you so desire and you're up to it and you're able, then you can go next door, help out your neighbor or your immediate community, all right? We're not telling you that once you take this training that you have to go out and deploy. That's not what we're telling you. We just want you to be prepared. And if you don't take care of yourself first, what good will you be to your family? So that's the thinking behind that, okay? So I think I'm almost at the end. Any questions? Oh, good.
Do you have any experience in what do you think about these like thunder shirts for dogs, anti-anxiety? They have all kinds of treats and stuff.
That's been going on now for a few years. It depends on the dog.
Okay.
I know that my little guy, he doesn't like anything on him. He doesn't even like when I pick him up. He's got neuroses. He will put his jammies on, you know. But right now, we are fortunate that the 3 dogs that we do have are not neurotic at this moment. That does not mean that in the next few years, Tessie, who is the eldest, well, no, she's the middle child, she'll probably develop a few crazy points of herself, you know. But what I have heard and what I found is that it just depends on the dog.
Nice.
Yeah, it's worth trying if you feel that it could help.
I just, you know, if there were an emergency, I have no idea, you know,
Yeah.
how my dog would be.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like it's magic. Like
It's not a magic bullet, no. No. I would just be prepared with one if I could afford to buy them. I don't know how expensive they are, but for 3 dogs for me to have them, I'm not sure if it would be worth it. My main concern is just being able to capture the cats. Because well, I guess I should say I'm 97% sure that I'll get all the dogs. But I think it really just depends on the dog. Yeah.
I have
Anything
friends
else?
who have 3
Yeah.
dogs. 2 of them use thunder shirts.
How
Very
does it
successfully.
work?
Very successfully. They put them on
Okay.
like around 4th of July. They live up
Perfect.
in Mil Sobrante when there's a lot of fireworks going off. Things like that.
And it
Or
works?
actual thunderstorms. Last winter was, you know, a good trial
Oh,
time
yeah,
for
we did
them.
have, yeah.
And they put the thunder shirts on the 2 dogs that need them, and they
Right,
work great for them.
terrific. So do you put them
One's a
on
pit bull
like
and one's
before
a
the the timing of, like it's the
Sometimes
4th of
you're able
July,
to do
you
that,
start
and
like in the
sometimes you
morning?
don't know when there's gonna be,
That's
you know,
true.
They
so,
start in,
Okay.
2 weeks ahead of time and they go.
so.
Okay, yeah, so I guess, yeah, it's worth a shot, yeah. We had one Australian Shepherd, who, well, she's gone now for 2 years, but she was like super neurotic when it came to the 4th of July. You know how sometimes people are starting a couple of days early and they're popping
Oh,
things?
it goes for 2 months around here.
Oh, yeah. All she would hear is one slight pop, and that would be it for a week. I mean, literally. We had her on medication.
Wow.
So, you know, before the 4th of July, we would start her on her meds and keep her right through for a few days. Didn't want to do it, but at least it helped a little bit. Yeah. Yes, yes,
Did you ever try the crate training with the cats?
yes. All of my cats are crate trained.
They are,
All 5 of them.
okay.
And Ash is the oldest one. In fact, oh yeah, I forgot this part. Make sure you take a picture of your pets, okay? Preferably a picture with you and yourself for identification. If you have a loved one at home, a partner, husband, wife, whatever you got, take a picture together. Whatever you got, I don't know. Okay, so you take a picture of the 2 of you with the pet. Black cats are notorious. They all look alike, they say. Well, I've got 3 black cats. They're not very good for photographing. They really aren't. So what we did was we kind of got a close-up of Ash. This is him. And Ash is a big boy. We brought him home when he was only, he was about 4 months old. He is now 5 years. And we started him in the crate from the time he came home. We would just leave him in there. You know, we wouldn't force him. Again, we did the trick with the treats. Skeeter goes into his crate very easy. So now, with Ash, he was around for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden we wound up getting 4 kittens who were like 10 days old. They were a little feral group. And we brought them home. They were only going to stay long enough to raise, and then out the door you go. Well, 4 years later, they're still at home. So that's how come we have 5. So since we first got the kittens, they all stayed in their crates. I could not have all that chaos running around the house. So they went into their crates. They had a litter box. They learned how to be in there, and then we would let them out. Everybody goes back in at nighttime. All right? They now can stay out because they're a little older, but every once in a while, I'll throw the treats in to remind them what the crate is for, you know. We also use catnip. Stuff.
Okay, so,
Great stuff. But yes, definitely.
so the follow-up question, and I've heard this strategy is you're supposed, for cats, you leave the carriers out, just out all the time.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know that I have enough, well, I'll do the best I can.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to live in the house with 3 crates for the dogs and 5 carriers for the cats. Don't think so. I have the carriers right outside the door from the kitchen into the garage. They're piled up, but I keep 1 in the house so that they are always aware that that carrier is around. Okay?
Okay.
Just as a reminder. They come in and out. You
So I
know.
can have 1 in each room.
Yeah, that's,
Would start.
yeah. Do you know the trick of putting a cat into the carrier faster?
Back in.
Back them in.
Yeah, stand the crate up.
Oh.
Stand the crate up, put them in butt first,
Yeah, that first time.
butt first, and then close that door as fast as you can so you don't get scratched. If you do get scratched, what do you do for a cat scratch?
Clean it, clean it, clean it, clean it.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, no, but even
Right.
so,
I mean,
clean
from
it, yeah.
Cat scratches are the worst thing you can get, and we will tell you that in the animal training, okay? It's the worst thing you can get. Dogs, not so much, okay? Although they can be serious too, of course. But a cat has lots of germs on his little paws because he's in and out of that litter box, okay? Worst thing you can, and they're very sharp. I mean, those little claws get right in there, okay? So that's definitely a, yes.
So speaking of ferals, I take care of a feral cat colony.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure they're on their own then once this happens, if I can't get to them. Is there any hint that I should know more than just?
If you have 15 minutes to get out of your house, do you have family members?
No,
Do you have children?
no,
Do you have other pets?
yes,
What do you think your concern should be?
my other pets.
You and your pet? Yeah. I don't have a problem with ferals, but your life and your pet's life is more important at that moment than it is to try and capture a feral, unless you know for sure that cat's coming to you.
They're not.
No,
What was the rule? Take care of yourself
that's
first,
right. There you go.
then your family,
That's
then your
right.
community.
You first, even before your pet, because there's nothing in the world you can do if you're not taking care of you first. So if you don't have your go bag ready, and you don't have your pet's go bag ready, you're useless. You're not going to be prepared. Well, I shouldn't say that word, useless. You're not useless. But you won't be prepared. And that's what we're talking about, is being prepared ahead of time. And yeah, I'm sorry about the ferals. It's kind of like my next door neighbor has chickens. I don't see him saving those. And I'm certainly not going to be worrying about chickens because I'm not knocking my fence down. You know, oh man, all I hear is the cluck, cluck, clucking all the time. Yes, ma'am.
So, have you, do you do a regular pet evacuation drill for your family?
You got it.
And how often do you do that?
Well, it's been a while. I need to do it again because we need to go through our stuff yet again. I mean, what happens is I start cannibalizing all of our bags, So I need to go through it all again, but yes, do practice. If not once a year, if you can do it twice a year, that's even better. Because you want to maintain and update your information, right? You want to make sure your pet's information is updated. You want to make sure your authorization is updated. You want pictures updated. I need a new picture of our puppy. Where's my phone? I have a phone here somewhere. She's adorable, but do I have pictures of her that I can use to this? No. I've got pictures on my phone. That won't do me any good when the battery goes dead. Okay? I use Outlook on my phone. A lot of good that does you when your battery goes. If you don't have some kind of a list of your emergency contact numbers, it's not going to be it. I know it sounds silly to be, okay, we're going to do all this writing, but
Print them out.
you can print them out. That's right.
It's easier than writing.
Yeah, but definitely try it out. And mainly because if you're going to include a family member in your plan, you want to make sure that your family member is on board with it. If Aunt Susie has kids, she may not want you bringing the dog and the cat. Yeah, you can come. You can bring the kids, I suppose. But they better behave because I'll put them in the garage.
So did you say you have an earthquake or disaster preparedness kit in your car already for you and your pets? So one for you, one for your pets?
This includes me and the dog, the little guy.
So all your stuff is in that one bag?
For me and him. Then I have another bag for the 2 Australian Shepherds. And then I have another bag for my partner. And that one has the cat stuff in it. We may alternate, because Elsie is starting to get bigger now, and she's on a different food. Tessie is on a special food from the vet, So now I've got to, instead of just regular food that I used to, now I've got all this special diet food that I have to maintain. It's like, are you kidding me?
And the collapsible crates are also in there.
Oh, yeah,
In your car.
and those are in the car all the time, because we also go and we show dogs. So I have to have the majority of all that stuff already in the trunk, prepared. I mean, it presents a problem when you go shopping at Safeway.
Running space. Yeah.
So it means I gotta take out things, of course,
Yeah.
go shopping, come back, repack. And everything is in a specific layer, okay, if you can follow. The water, because it's in cases, is on the bottom. It's a big trunk. We have a Crown Vic.
Oh, gosh,
All right.
yes.
Oh,
So it's got a
kitchen
great,
sink in there.
that's why I was kidding around about the two bodies, all
Yeah, you
right?
were kidding.
Two
big
Grandma
bodies.
Grandma bought the car because of that. She said, oh, this is
Say
great.
it again with no accent.
So the water in cases can go at the bottom, okay? And then I build up packs, all the other accoutrements. The crates, the soft-sided crates, are on the top. Why do you think they're on the top?
That's the first thing you're gonna wanna reach for.
Bingo, exactly. And I do that when we go to the dog show. Because as soon as we get to wherever we're going, the crates have to come out so I can stash the dogs. Then I can take out the canopy, and I can take out the cooler, all the stuff that we carry, because we're gonna be there all day. I mean, it's quite a lifestyle I lead. But it's for them, you know.
Are you showing your own dogs, or is there other dogs?
Oh no, ours.
You're showing your
Yeah,
dogs.
both Australian Shepherds are now being shown. The Tessie is Skeeter's the eldest. You count, buddy, but you don't count. Tessie is now she's going for Iron Dog in nose work. So she's going to the top level now. And we plan on starting Elsie in the next round, and she'll be starting in nose work. So there's two different organizations that we belong to.
This is like search and rescue?
It's
Wow.
scent recognition, right? Yeah, it's lots of fun. I mean, you'd be surprised. Not all dogs know how to use their noses, really. So they use, oh my God, the 3 different scents. Come on, Carmen. Anyway, there's 3 specific scents that you train them to search for. And then there's levels that they can go in. She has now only been in it for 1.5 years, and she's done novice, advanced, and excellent already in the one organization.
And this is for search and rescue.
It's not for search and rescue, but it's the same kind of training that you do for search and rescue, because they get taught to find a specific scent,
Right.
and then they get rewarded for it. So it's just like doing a, yeah, only we're
Drug
not doing-
dogs, cadaver
We're not
dogs.
doing cocaine.
Right.
But, so, you know, in 2 weeks, for instance, I have to make sure that the car is ready, because we're going up to Napa. So we'll be going up there, and I've got to make sure everything is all packed, because if something happens while we're up there, guess what? We need to be prepared, not just for the weekend, but just in case we can't get back home. And it almost happened to us. You remember the fire up at Mount Diablo?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We were coming home from Napa that day. And we saw this smoke in the distance. I said, what is all that? Oh, it looks like smoke. Oh, okay. And we're driving along. And the traffic is getting worse and worse and worse. And the sky is getting darker and darker. And then there was another fire going on at the same time. And so it was like, are we going to get home? Okay, start looking in your phone for a hotel to stay in, just in case. All right? So it can happen anywhere you go, folks. All right? You just want to make sure that you're ready. Yes, ma'am.
What is your opinion of the number of cats that you should put in per carrier? Should each cat have a carrier?
Yes, separate. I know it's a lot of
Carriers.
carriers and it's a lot more work, but whenever you reach your destination, you want to make sure that that carrier that you're going to be putting them into for the long term is big enough so that you can put a litter box.
Okay.
All right? So this might be great for taking them to point A, but once you get to point A, you need something a little bit larger because you've got that litter box to have to worry about.
Yeah, and I was going to actually point that out because most emergency shelters with cats, when they run out of space, chances are they aren't going to have very limited,
Don't worry about that.
cage space. They're just going to leave your cat in the carrier.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to take your cat out of the
No,
carrier.
they will be putting them in a,
They will?
yeah.
Okay.
Because what they'll do is they'll take the crate and put it inside the wire crate and just let the cat alone. He or she can come in and out on his own.
Okay.
But they need the space because of the litter box.
Okay.
They don't want to keep them in a small crate for long term,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So you mentioned your litter box. So when you go to Aunt Rosie's house, okay, you're going to go to Aunt Rosie's house, and one of the things you're going to pull out, an old tarp, doesn't have to be perfect, okay? You're going to open up your tarp. Aunt Rosie's fine with bringing kitty cat. I don't have a problem. Just make sure you clean up after them. So you're going to put down your tarp. You're going to take your little box, and you're going to put it on here. So that when Kitty is cleaning, doing his thing, it's getting on here, not on Aunt Rosie's beautiful oriental rug. Okay? And obviously, if she's okay with having the cat, you don't have to keep it in a crate, that's even better.
Right.
All right? But again, you know, it's all kind of trying to work with all of this. I did not base all my decisions on what I'm using based on the cats. The cat's an extra. Mine is based on the dog's needs. And I know that sounds terrible. But, you know.
Realistically, you might not have cats with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can have some food, some water, and some of the basics packed in case I do grab Ash.
Yeah, your phone is ringing.
Found your phone.
Now we know where it is.
I'm sorry, guys. See how oblivious I am to it? If I catch Ash, then at least I have the basics for him, okay?
Right.
If worse came to worse, I can take one of the dogs out of the wire crate and put Ash in the crate. All right? Skeeter's kind of easy. He's not, well, I shouldn't say he's easy. Sometimes you're a pain in the butt, but that's okay. We love them all. Tessie is pretty easy, even though she's bigger. I can take her out of her crate and she'll stay where we put her. She's okay. So if worse comes to worse, we can put somebody else in that wire crate. All right? It is an investment because obviously wire crates are just a little bit more expensive than the soft-sided, but in the long run, it's better to have it than not to. Okay?
If you've got dogs, at least some of them will chew up the soft-sided crates.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think mine too would do that.
Up until now, Tessie never did that. Skeeter never did it. Alcee has come along, and because she's a puppy, she's taught them bad manners. So she now scratches, and now the other two are starting to do the same thing. So we got to make some adjustments here.
So it sounds like a lot of what you know about your dogs has come from the trial and error of doing your drills. Because you don't know what your dogs are like until you stick them in the...
You got it.
Until you go
And
through
since
it.
we travel a lot because of the dog shows, we kind of get to use our skills and our stuff more often than, let's say, you would, okay? My feeling is that those of us who do travel with our dogs know our dogs much, much better than others.
Right.
All right? So I know that this is fine for Skeeter. It's a small size crate. It opens up in like less than 5 minutes. But for long term, he's not comfortable in that. But he loves his wire crate. Go figure. All right. And again, because the other two are larger, it's easier to just put them in the wire crates.
Right.
I mean, you should see us unpacking at the motel. It's hysterical. I mean, it's just, yeah, I gotta use one of those long things, on the wheels, and then I gotta unload everything from the truck, including food and drinks.
When you go for the
right?
dog show.
And, yeah, it's one night. Oh my God, you'd think I was moving in, right? And then in the morning, before we go to the dog show, I've gotta load everything back up into the trunk. So,
Can we
but it
get
works.
extra copies of these for neighbors and?
Absolutely, absolutely. Did everyone get these?
What I will do is I will scan these, if you don't mind. I will scan them and make them available as a PDF that you can download on the prcert.org
And
website.
if you want to help yourselves, that's what they're all here for, folks.
And do you also have copies of those, you're
Yes.
gonna also scan those
Yes,
other
I will
forms?
get copies of everything that you've talked about
Okay.
and put it available for
Because I don't know
download.
if I have enough of these, but if not, absolutely, take
I'll
at
just
least
take one of
set
each.
of everything. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I have
And then
no
I'll mail
problem
them back to
sharing.
you. I'll mail them back to you.
Please. I have no problem with sharing them. A lot of this information is information you can get on the internet. I am not the one who created all of it. I have done some manipulating and adding and deleting, but it is all stuff that I tend to spend time on the computer. I try to find the best solution for something. I came across this particular website for birds, and it is actually about emergency preparedness for birds. And I thought, wow, isn't that, that's appropriate.
What's it called? Birdcage?
Birdcage.com, bird-cage.com.
Okay.
And again, you can, help yourself to this one as well.
Right.
Everything that is here, it is available to anybody, so you can share it with your group. It is not, what's that called, copyrighted or anything like that. So, and I use this material with everybody, okay? Here's something I'd like you to all take with you, and these are stickers you put on your front door,
Oh, yeah.
okay? And I tell people, did I give you two?
I give one to my daughter.
Put
She has a daughter.
Two, take two. Put
Is it
one,
on the door or on the window?
well, if you have a glass door or on the window to the front,
I can
and
get one
then,
that goes on a solid door, that's what I need to know.
oh, not glass, yeah.
I don't have a
I don't
glass.
know if they'll stick on a
No,
door,
no.
no.
Yeah.
I tell people to put one in the back of their house, and that's because if responders, did I give everybody?
Yeah.
If responders need to come in your home and you're not there, you do not know which way the responders are coming in, whether it's in the front or the back. All right? So, that's why I tell folks that. Did I give everyone one of these? Yep, okay, cool. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
have a bag.
Thank you.
This is called advertising. There you go.
So desperate.
There we go.
Thank you.
There you go, my dear.
And if anybody in this group ends up taking the CERT course and wants to set up a CERT animal response team for Point Richmond, we would love you forever for
Oh,
that.
I think that
How
would be
awesome that
so
would be.
great.
A CERT
Because that's just one thing
team, animal team for,
Yeah.
for if somebody that would be the animal response person, meaning that once you've got yourself sorted, once you've got your family sorted, and you want to go deploy and set up something for the neighborhood, because we will have a point of deployment when, for us, for all the CERT trained people.
My garage would be perfect for a temporary shelter.
Right, then that's great. So if you get yourself CERT
I mean, it's
certified, well, you can't do it unless you get CERT certified, because one of the upsides of being certified for CERT is that you are, once the emergency happens and you deploy yourself, you become covered by the city's emergency, your city's insurance for
DSW.
hurt, for being hurt. But you have to be certified, you have to be sworn in. So that's one of the reasons why it's like, we would love someone to do a shelter. If they do it on their own, great.
Okay,
But
now
please go get certified so you're
careful.
covered.
You be careful. You just don't put up a shelter.
Right. Yes, it would be something
need
that you would work
training.
with her.
You need-
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah.
That's not what
Yeah.
I was suggesting for a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
It's really, it's really
So-
not necessary.
It's kind of like everybody gets this confused with the animal response training for CERT, which is really for CERT members. That particular class, the one that you refer to as ART,
Right.
that's continuing education for CERT trained people.
Can't touch you.
And that is what you can expect as a CERT person out in the street.
Right.
It is not for sheltering, it is not for rescue, or any of those marvelous things that those of us who love animals want to do. That is strictly for you to understand as a CERT member, what you can expect if you're out in the street doing CERT work.
Got it.
Okay? What do you do if you see that dog who happens to be walking around in the neighborhood on his own? Do you approach? Do you not approach? Do you know what to do?
Right.
And normally we will tell you, put a call into your CERT group and say, there's a dog on the corner of 5th and Main and he's loose. We need somebody to come by.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. But if you are interested in animal sheltering, emergency sheltering, that's where CART comes in,
Okay.
all right? And my information is on the flyer as well, in
Thank
case
you.
you're interested in that. All righty?
Carmen, thank you.
Anything?
Thank you so much for this. It was
I'm
wonderful.
sorry, I can just keep on talking.
You know what, we'll have to have you back.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you all for coming, and take care and be safe.
Okay, so if you would like to join us for next month, our next meeting is September 5th. That is a Thursday, September 5th. It's the first Thursday of September, and the topic will be, cross our fingers, our topic is going to be emergency preparedness for your child. We are hoping to get an expert from the West Contra Costa County School District to talk about what the emergency plan is for the local school here, and what you can expect as a parent of Washington Elementary or any other schools in the Richmond area if an emergency happens or if a disaster happens while your kids are at school. If you have any questions or you want any information or you want to sign up for our very, very respectful list for our newsletter, email list, you can look at it and go through the contact page, and you can find us at PRCERT. That's PRCERT.org. Thanks, everyone. See you next month. Bye.